How's it going, everybody? Today I'm going to be teaching you 4 stitches that everyone should know, especially if you're a crafter. So, unplug your glue gun, set that off to the side, and let's see if we can figure this out together. So these are 4 stitches that I use the most often that I think cover pretty much anything you would want to do. I'm not going to show you how to use every one. I'm not going to go into great detail about it. I'm just showing you how to do it. So if you need to get 2 pieces of fabric together, you can. I have a threaded needle here. I like using quilters needles. They're betweens. Doesn't matter what size, match it appropriately to your thread. This is cotton thread. I'm using a dark thread with this white felt, only for contrast so you could see it. Obviously, you would want to get as close to the fabric as you can, but do not make the mistake I did when I first started sewing and buy 12,000 spools of thread. You need like a white, a black, a couple of medium grays, tan, something like that. You don't need to match exactly unless you're doing really fine, like detail work on something. So I have my needle threaded, and the first stitch I'm going to do is the running stitch. If you've stitched anything before, it's probably using this stitch. It's just simple, in and out, back and forth. It's the same stitch you would use if you were gathering something, and it holds things together. It's not the most secure stitch, but it's fast and it's pretty easy. I'm only going back and forth, and you're moving the fabric, not the needle. The needle stays stationary for this stitch. So I'm getting the most amount of stitches stacked on there that I can without it being unwieldy or uncomfortable, and then I'm just pulling through. And this stitch looks the same as it does on the back. Just in and out, back and forth. You want to try to keep your stitches the same size, and you want to make sure your seam allowance is pretty much the same size. My stitches at times get a little messy because I am filming this while I'm like hunched over my table because I'm so close, but you'll get the point. And so see, if this was something you were gathering, you would just pull that like a little drawstring. But we're not gathering anything. We're just going to leave these as they are, because all we're trying to do is get these 2 pieces together. When I'm tying off, I'm making a little loop and then stitching through the loop just to tie off. And I do that for every piece that I sew together. So you just make a loop, go through the loop, pull it tight. How you're going to tie off is again going to depend on what you're actually working on, but this is just the easiest to do. Okay, so we've got that done. Stitches don't look great, but hey, these 2 pieces of fabric are together. So I'm going to fold it over and show you what it would look like if you were making, let's say we're making pillows, because that's where I see the most glue guns come out. So there's not much showing. I'm going to try to get you a little closer view right there. And you can see as I pull it apart, it's holding together. It's not the strongest stitch because it can break pretty easily. And unless you do it super close, it's kind of visible. So this is the whip stitch. It's basically going through one fabric, out the other. I'm going from the back to the front. If you're left-handed, you might do it the other way. Switch hands. It's basically just whipping around the 2 edges to lash them together. This is a very common stitch too. Use this a lot for like hemming pants. And again, mine's very uneven, mostly because of the way I'm trying to film this. So I'm going from the back, coming up the front, pulling it tight. And when I say pulling tight, you don't want to be creating any indentions in your fabric when you're seaming 2 things together. It should never be so tight that the fabric is buckling, because if you put that much tension on the thread, you weaken it because it doesn't want to be that tight, This is just cotton. And if we use like a polyester, or the white thread I'm going to use later as a cotton poly blend, or if you have like a cotton wrap polyester, those are a lot stronger than just cotton by themselves. But this is what was available to me without digging, so that's what I grabbed. And I did want something where you can see the contrast, so just in and out. Now I'm tying off right there, going through the loop a couple times, and then I'm just going to snip it off. And let's take a look at this one. Messy, very messy, but I mean, your stitches aren't going to be perfect if you don't know how to sew to begin with. And if your stitches aren't perfect, the way that I finish everything, none of that matters. So see, if I lean it out of the light, you can see it a little bit better. This is really uneven. I find the whip stitch kind of hard to get even because you have to take the exact same bite out of the seam every time, and I'm not good at that. So yeah, that's a little bit more secure than the running stitch, but not really. I mean, you can see as I pull it, it gaps a little bit, and it does make a kind of a rolled seam instead of a flat one, but I mean, depending on what you're doing. And this is the back stitch. I'm starting a knot right here, and I flip this around, and like not half of it's done, but see, there's a good chunk done because I completely forgot how to do this. When you're doing this, your thread is always staying on the same side of the fabric. Like, you shouldn't be turning the fabric around or anything. You shouldn't be stitching through one end and stitching through the back. You're always stitching from the top down and then back up. So you're going to make a stitch. Like, say this is where you're starting. You're making a stitch. You're going to go back to where the needle went down. Go back through that hole and come up a little ways away. Down, back, then back through the original hole. So this is the first hole. Now, we're going to go back to the last hole and make a new hole. Back to the last hole, make a new hole. And this one is nice because every stitch kind of locks itself in because you're stitching over something you've already done. And obviously, the closer together your stitches are, the tighter your seam's going to be. But this is what I prefer to do. And if I wasn't going to finish the seam like I'm going to after this, I would probably use this most of the time. So there's where we came out. We're going to go back, come out, go back to where we started, come out, go back down where we started, come out. Give everything a tug every so often just to make sure you're keeping things right with the world. Especially with this back stitch, because the further along you get, if you have any slack, it's going to be harder to pull because these are like tying off every time you stitch. So go back, come up, go back, come up. And of course I'm going through both layers of fabric when I go down and come back up. I didn't know if that was clear. So this is a very secure stitch. It's pretty easy to do. It's the most time consuming out of the three that I've shown you, but it's also usually the most appropriate for when you're seaming two things together. And if you sew nice and straight and you keep small stitches, it should be pretty invisible. Mine's not going to be, because I am not good with sewing straight or evenly. Okay, so now I'm at the end. I'm going to go down, pick that loop up, and just sew through it to tie off. Go through the loop again, pull it tight, make a little knot, and we're going to cut that off. Okay, those are 3 stitches. This is the back stitch again. Let's take a look at it. Doesn't look great on either side, but it's not gonna. What might for you? You might be excellent at this. If you want to, you can always mark a line and stitch along. I wasn't going to do that because 9 times out of 10, you're not going to do that, you know? So you can see this is a very strong stitch. And when I fold it over like you would for a pillow, if you were making a pillow or something like that, you can see that the stitches aren't that visible. Even for being such a high contrast thread, you can't see the stitches too much. You can, but not too much. All right, so let's look at all 3 of them again. Here's the whip stitch. I compare them here. This is a whip stitch compared to the back stitch. And then this is the running stitch, which will eventually be on the camera. This was hard to film, guys. So see, there you go. Those are the 3 stitches. And now I'm going to show you my favorite stitch ever. This is a stitch that I use pretty much every time I have a needle and thread in hand. I finish seams because I want this to look as done as possible from the outside. I mean, don't look at the inside, it's going to be a mess, but as done as possible from the outside. So this is the one we did with the back stitch. And I folded it over like it would be the edge of a pillow. And I'm going to come up from the bottom with my thread. This is the white thread now. Oh, it's kind of like a very light gray, but I'm going to come up from the bottom, and don't worry, eventually I will get this on screen. We're even closer now. And this is a ladder stitch. I'm in the fabric that's closest to me. I'm going to take a tiny bite of the one next to my finger, the top one. Let's call them top and bottom. I'm going into the bottom, taking a little bite. And again, I'm going to go directly across from that stitch and take another bite out of the top. And what you're doing is laying stitches across the seam that look like little rungs of a ladder, which is why it's called the ladder stitch. So I'm going to take a little bite down here, go directly across, take a bite out the top, and these are all done in real time. I was going to speed them up, but I think that would be maybe going way too fast for anybody to really see what's going on. And I wanted to make sure, you know, if I was going to spend the time making this and editing it, that I was going to do my best to show what I'm doing. Yeah, take a bite at the top, go over a little bit. Now, so you can kind of see those stitches, just maybe. See them going across right there? And then you're going to pull this, which I don't get on camera. But don't worry, we still have more to sew. So I snug this up, and what it does is it pulls both sides of the seam together. The white stitches that we've made the rungs with sink into the fabric, and they pretty much disappear. I mean, you can see right there. There's the seam on the right, and on the left where my thumb is, that's where the seam was. And it pretty much disappears, especially when you have a fabric that has a little bit of nap to it. Let's finish this up again. See, I'm on the top, making sure I'm on the top. And then we go directly across from that. Take a little bite out the bottom. And I'm doing these really close, and honestly, you don't have to go this close for everything. I'm doing it as a example to show you, wow, look how well this seam just completely disappears. But you can space them out a little bit, and it'll give you pretty much the same effect, kinda. Not as nicely finished, but better than finishing with a glue gun, I can tell you that. And this is the same stitch you would use if you were finishing a pillow, like if you stuffed it or put a pillow form in it or anything. So there it is. let's make sure we're in a camera now and pull it tight. If it bunches up like that, just go back over it and release that tension some. And I mean, that looks pretty good. Yeah, so if you were making a pillow and you sewed all the way around, flipped it inside out, put the stuffing or the pillow inside of there, you'd end up with the space where you shove the pillow through, and you would just turn those edges in and do the ladder stitch over them to close it up. And if you want to get better at hand sewing, the best thing you can do is just buy some felt. I mean, a sheet's like 25 cents. Cut it up into pieces and seam it back together. You know, use contrasting thread so you can see where you need work, and then go back in with a matching thread and see how good you can make those seams look. But even if you make messy seams like I did, the ladder stitch is like glitter. I mean, you throw glitter on something, it hides so many evils. And this is how I used to bind all my quilts when I was a world-renowned quilter. I was never a world-renowned quilter, but because it does make such a nice finish. We're going to pull that up, see how the sides come together there. Remember, not too tight or it could snap. And now, that is a pretty invisible seam. You can still see where it's at, of course, and it doesn't help that you can see through the fabric, but I think that looks really good. If that was the edge of a pillow, I mean, come on. So this is a ladder stitch with the running stitch compared to the whip stitch, and compared to the running stitch here. Did I say running stitch for the first one? The first one's the back stitch. So yeah, I mean, and you can do the ladder stitch over any of those stitches, and not that I'm recommending this, but if you wanted to hot glue fabric together to make a pillow, you could glue it and then go back and stitch over it to hide that seam. But that would leave you a hard seam because glue dries kind of firm, you know? So yeah, give these a try. Even if you don't need them right now, you might sometime in the future. Especially that ladder stitch. That ladder stitch can be applied to so many things. It's a really great stitch to know how to do. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you learned something. Let me know if you guys like these kind of videos. I don't know much about things, but I do know about this. So enjoy, and I will see you guys on Wednesday. Bye guys.